Rule 1!
Never surrender!
Rule 2!
Run the same!
Rule 3!
Never leave a lower rank!
Rule 4!
Defeat everyone!
Rule 5!
Never surrender!
Anytime you see that match symbol, you accept that match. Anytime you get knocked down, you get back up. You grit your teeth.
And you win this! Hoorah!
Let's talk about ranked matchmaking. While playing any competitive game, there may come a time in which you want to have your skill as a player tested against other players who are better than you instead of just beating on everyone you see without a semblance of challenge. The ideal way to do this without seeking out a specific challenge is through the ranked mode. Unlike casual and player matches, ranked matchmaking is a mode in which the game attempts to put you against someone of similar skill. This is based on a bunch of different things, but the one that is visible to the players is the rank you guys have. There's a lot more that goes into it depending on the game, with hidden values such as ELO, things such as win rate and the amount of games you guys have played, and if you're on a hot streak or you're getting your ass handed to you, those kind of things. A good ranked matchmaking system is able to dynamically adjust itself to give you matches that feel challenging but fair. So why do I look like this after only playing an hour of ranked Tekken? Well, like everything in this genre that I love and the games that I put too many hours in, these systems aren't up to snuff. Let's go over how ranked systems work in most other games. Generally, most competitive games have placement matches that you need to play in order to get a starting rank. This can be reset between seasons or just be a one-time thing, but at some point you're going to have to play matches before you get put into the system. Depending on how you do in your placement matches will depend on what rank you get, and then you'll be able to gain and lose whatever rank point your game has. The majority of fighting games just put you at 0 points and go, okay buddy, start playing. I do have one question about this method. Why? Like, okay, let's look at this from 3 different perspectives. We have someone who's never played a fighting game before, someone who plays them pretty casually, and a competitive player who enters tournaments. Which of these 3 benefit from starting at the bottom of the rankings and having to make their way up? You'd probably think this easily benefits the person who's never played a fighting game before, but it doesn't even really help them. Let's say that it's launch day for a new fighting game and you've just picked it up. You are now playing Street Fighter 6. This is your first ever fighting game. You've learnt the buttons, you can sometimes pull off on a Dokkan, and you can do a basic 3-hit combo. It's not a lot, but you just want to get into a match and find out how the game feels to play against another player. You join ranked, and your first opponent is Daigo Umehara. That's not going to leave a good first impression for a player. Worst bit is, right now, they're both considered the same rank. This is obviously just a problem for the start of the game, as Daigo will beat everyone in his path and get to the top ranks extremely quickly, until he runs into another person who is as good as him randomly. See, in the first few days when the game is most popular, the skill-based matchmaking areas of the game don't really take into account the skills of different players. It's just based matchmaking. So it's bad for new players because they might find themselves going up against literal gods of the game, but what about the gods of the game? Well, they're not really going to get anything from it either. If we keep talking about the start of the game, the first few days is dedicated to learning the ins and outs of the game's systems and mechanics. They probably have some things that they want to test out and learn, so they will be able to do that against new players, right? Not really. I mean, they can definitely focus on execution and combos and stuff, but a new player isn't going to find a way to deal with the mix that the top player might not have considered. They're probably just going to end up eating it for days. This is why a lot of top players actually fight each other when the game comes out, but if they decide to enter the rank pool, they're probably just going to have a very uneventful and boring session of the game. So what about the intermediate players? Well, they're probably going to have some extremely polarizing matches where they get bodied or they absolutely body, so they're probably not going to have the best time either. Most people playing competitive games enjoy having close games, and even the ones where they want to play the game at one-sided stomps can generally only play for a while before it gets kind of tiresome. So the system at the start is definitely not optimal because all your player base aren't getting matches at their skill range. For fighting games, you need to capture the interest of players in the first few days if you want to keep them, because the games drop off hard. Hell, nowadays with the era of public beta tests, you need to capture it sometimes even earlier. Damn, your beta test is having problems online? Fuck, dude, bad game. I'm sorry, no bye. So the question now becomes, would placement matches fix this issue? Well, yeah, and mostly, there would still be uneven matches, but if the system works correctly, these matches should be front-loaded, so the players are sorted more accordingly and can get better matches. Some fighting games have the placement method already, like Battle for the Grid, and it works really well in that game. When I did my placements and finally got my rank, I was happy with where I landed, and it was only after I started fighting people above my rank that I felt like I needed to improve in order to keep up. It's not like fighting games don't have some unique concepts that also improve the rank experience though. In Street Fighter V, you have a one rank for your account, meaning that no matter what character you play, you're going to be playing people at that specific rank. Because of this, for losers like me who care about the shiny badge that they have next to their character, yes I know it's silver, shut up, it discourages them from trying other characters as they're going to be put in an environment where they're destined to lose points, which could lead to losing a rank. Tekken, on the other hand, has a rank for each character that you play, and when you hit a high rank on a character, all of the other characters you haven't played get boosted up to a lower but still high rank. This means you can try new characters without worrying about affecting your rank, as you're not only going to be fighting lower skilled players, so you can make more mistakes, but the character's specific rank has no impact on your main. And Guilty Gear Strive has the Celestial Flaw for the best of the best players, and... okay, you know what, Guilty Gear? I have a couple of bones to pick with you, actually. I'm going to preface this by saying that I think Guilty Gear Strive has one of the best ranking systems out there for the largest fighting games currently. If you don't know, Guilty Gear Strive has a system known as the Tower. When you start your rank climb, you fight an AI of Soul Bad Guy. Depending on your performance against the computer, you are designated a flaw, with these flaws generally being either 4, 5, or 6. I don't think fighting an AI in order to account for player skill is the best idea when deciding somebody's rank, but it's still better than throwing you in the ocean and telling them to sink or swim. There are 10 flaws. You can enter any flaw above and including your current level, but you cannot go to any flaws below your level. This is good for players looking for a challenge, but you won't ever be able to go and beat up newbies without a smurf or their consent. But what about the best of the best? Well, there's a flaw after the 10th flaw known as the Celestial Flaw. If you keep winning on flaw 10, you'll be able to go to the Celestial Flaw and challenge the people already there. If you win 5 matches, you're able to enter the Celestial Flaw whenever you like. But if you lose 2 before those 5 wins, you're kicked back to 10th flaw and have to earn your challenger status again. In concept, I really like this rank system. This is able to keep the 10th floor of the tower as an area for good casual players to test each other's skills and fight both players that are their skill level and those strong enough to attempt Celestial runs. Hell, they might even just become good enough to become a Celestial challenger. However, Celestial is a mixed bag. So Celestial obviously has the best of the players in the game, as they're easily just able to body anyone who attempts fighting you. Then there's people who are at the top and coming up, doing well in tournaments and friendlies with strong players. And then there's people like me. I only recently started playing Strive again, and I mean like recently. I got into Celestial by skimming the edge of the lobby, waiting for somebody to go on a setup, and if they had a lower number than mine, I'd fight them and completely avoid players who had a lot of levels or a fancy little aura. Second day of trying, I managed to get in. And if you've got some friends who are in Celestial or able to get to the challenger size, then you can just collude with them in order to get in at some point. Is it cheap? Yes, of course it is. It's hella scummy, but you can do it. Once you're there, though, I really like Celestial. Being able to fight high-tier opponents whenever you like without worrying about losing any rank points is actually a really good feeling. Though I imagine it's not the best for actual pro players, as it seems that most of them are just trying to run sets against each other to train. And that's the main thing. Ranked is a game mode, not a tool in order to get better. This might be spoiler for a future project, but I've been playing a lot, and I mean a lot, of Tekken 7 Ranked recently, and it went from pretty fun to hell really quickly. If you're an intuitive player, you may be able to see mid-match what you're doing wrong, but for most of us, we will just see that we are losing and there's no voice at the other end to help us. We just are left to try and figure it out. The easiest way to improve is with somebody you actually talk to who's knowledgeable about the game, not just some random on the internet with the leak gamer tag. If you want to test your skills, own some noobs, and don't really care about who you're playing, Ranked is good for you. If you want to get better, go find a training partner and run the sets.